Birmingham Oratory is where my two sons were baptised. Dedicated to the Immaculate Conception, the name Our Lady called herself when she appeared to Saint Bernadette in Lourdes. But there's a famous writer who also has connections to this beautiful church. His name was John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, 1892 to 1973. Writer, poet, philologist and university professor, Tolkien's work was similar to that of Shakespeare, and he's best known for his classical high fantasy works The Silmarillion, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, one of the best-selling books of all time. This is where Tolkien lived between the ages of 4 and 8. Having sons who are also aged 4 and 8 myself, I can just imagine how he would have loved to play with his brother Hilary in these very picturesque surroundings, and how they later became such a big influence in his books. Many of the local people became characters, and although The Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand, many of the places described as Middle Earth actually originated here in the heart of England. Moseley Bog, which is only down the road, became the old forest in the Fellowship of the Ring. The Sleeping Warrior is based on Tolkien's character from The Lord of the Rings, and also makes a nice bench to sit on. The bog, you can actually see how wet and muddy it is round here, but they've actually built some pathways to keep you dry. But just look at this stunning forest that we're in. Could almost be in a scene from one of his books. It's so lovely here. This is a protected nature reserve, so fallen trees are just left to decay with as little human intervention as possible. Look at this lovely peaceful water. this tree is over 200 years old. His teeth. Sarehall Mill, just across the road, became the Great Mill at Hobbiton. And it's still a working mill to this day. It was during this time that Tolkien started to experience some recurring dreams that were very disturbing to him. A huge wave rolled over the trees and green meadows, destroying everything in its path. He later called this his Atlantis complex. Unfortunately, this idyllic lifestyle was not to last. Tolkien's father passed away, leaving little to support his wife and children. Arthur had worked as a bank manager in South Africa, but they now depended on family for financial help. After the loss of his father, Tolkien's mother Mabel turned to the Catholic religion for comfort and support. It was this that led her family to disown her and abruptly stop any financial assistance. This probably contributed to her early death of diabetes on the 14th of November 1904. Tolkien believed she was a Catholic martyr who died for her faith. Tolkien and his brother Hilary were left in the care of Father Francis Morgan, a priest at the Birmingham Oratory. Tolkien moved many times during his life, but living at Stirling Road with his recently widowed aunt was a particularly unhappy time. Luckily, the oratory was only a short distance away, where the boys served Mass every morning and spent time with Father Francis. As teenagers, Father Francis found the boys' lodgings at Duchess Road. It was here that Tolkien, at just 16, met and fell in love with Edith Bratt. She was attractive, small and slender with grey eyes, but being 3 years older and not a Catholic, Father Morgan was concerned about Tolkien's education and forbade him to see Edith or have any contact with her until he was 21. During the next 3 years, Tolkien began his studies at Oxford University, but their love never died. The midnight beginning his 21st birthday, he wrote to Edith proposing marriage. When she replied that she was engaged to someone else, Tolkien travelled to see her. Edith broke off the engagement and became a Roman Catholic. War broke out in 1914 when Tolkien served as officer, but still married Edith in 1916.